You ever sat and think, there's a spell you'll ever get to be? No one around you, no one to care for you, no one who loves you.
Don't you think I stopped caring about that a long time ago?
I hurt myself today to see if I still feel. I focus on the pain, the only thing that's
She. Why did you save me? Isn't it obvious? She's like you, very much like you. You got a face to her. Things are coming and no one will be able to understand. That little girl is proof enough. Why her? She's just a kid.
You know damn well that you are not going to stick by and let her get caught in the crossfire. She was much longer.
You need her as much as she needs you.
Summer is here. As we all get ready to enjoy the nice weather with loved ones, more quality time with the children and our families, and overall life returning to the world, we unfortunately have to remember, as with all things, there is a much darker side that needs to be addressed. As we honor our fallen heroes in the armed forces, Memorial Day also serves as the official start of the 100 deadliest days of summer, a time when traffic fatalities are at an all-time high. We here at the Bald and Bonkers Network would like to remind everyone to be safe while driving. Please, do not use your cell phone. If you must answer a phone call or text, please pull over to the nearest safe destination in order to do so. Put on your seatbelt. Minimize distractions as much as possible. Be aware of all potential hazards on the road. Look both ways before entering an intersection. Monitor traffic reports in order to allow yourself enough time to reach your destination safely. Mind posted speed limits, and for the love of God, do not leave any children, pets, or elderly alone in a hot vehicle. It does not matter how long you think you're going to be gone for. A number of legal jurisdictions are combating this recklessness and stupidity with increased traffic patrols, heavier fines, potential prison time, and required use of a Bluetooth-enabled device. Many car manufacturers are also doing their part by including these features and more into their newer models. However, these are not enough on their own to save lives. Everyone must do their part while on the road. Because believe me when I say that one of the most comforting aspects of being a paranormal investigator is when you find proof that a loved one who has passed away is still hanging around. But life's milestones would be just a bit more special if they were alive to be there. Nothing is more important than your life. Don't leave your loved ones with the pain of losing you. From all of us at Bald and Bonkers, drive safe, drive responsibly, and have a safe and fun summer.
Again. When we're together again.
This has been a message from Bald and Bonkers Network LLC, the We Are Light Foundation, and the No Fresh Ghosts movement. Stay safe, everyone. We love you all. Viewer discretion is advised.
Prepare for contact by Bald and Bonkers.
Well, now that that's over.
I must say that was brilliant, by the way. That's the first time I've ever tried that.
That's a very good message.
Yeah. Dakota is awesome at his graphic work. So, Dakota?
Yes. So I know everybody doesn't like, commercials, and with all these streaming services, we're getting used to being needy. Trust me. Been streaming The Boys season 3, but welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Contact. Tonight we have Drew and Mama D from DNTV joining us. Just before we came on to live, it's already been an interesting chat. My EMS already going off. First off, I would like to welcome you guys from us at Bald and Bonkers. I hope this is going to be a good show. And finally, we can confront you about trying to steal our sherry.
We're not trying to steal a sherry. I've been a brother to that woman for ages.
Sherry's just a lovely lady. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, Sherry is good. Honestly, that will sell you for 45p.
Oh, come on, at least make it.
Whoa!
I'm sorry, Sherry. Don't put me in a jar.
Sharon, I'll buy you with every single penny in my pocket, which right now is flip all. But
it's the same here. It's the same here.
I'll give him my love.
Yeah. Sherry is good though. She shares all her links out, and I would like to thank everybody else in the chat and everybody else that's no speaking for sharing their links out tonight. Honestly. So, Drew, Mama D, how would you like to begin tonight? Could I ask Drew? I've got a wee question here that I want to ask you for a long time. How did you get into this type of stuff? How did it all happen for you?
Here we go, the famous story. So, I'll tell you the two stories. I'm going to go way back. Now, this is way back. The story began is when I was a kid, I started seeing spirits, roughly between, the 6 and 5 stage. But mine was quite a very hectic, strong. It was scary, I'm not going to lie. But as I was growing up, I started getting involved into dealing with spirits. As I got to a certain age, 8 years old, I'll explain that in a bit. I should keep on that age for a minute. Let me explain a little bit more. That line at the age of 5 and 6, I started seeing it more and often in this house. This one house only this one house. I was starting to see it in school. I was starting to see it on the streets. I started seeing it in shopping centers. When I told my family about it, my family was saying this one was a spiritualist, this one was that. I did get into it, but I just kept it to myself. I really did. And to fully get into it, I was seeing a lot of what most people would see, and they were green face. I had this guy who really, really did scare me. He was always hanging around in my kitchen in the back window, and the back window he came out as green, and he was all really beard with a white baseball cap.
Really?
I thought it was a human, but it wasn't actually a human. He kept coming all the time when I was in the kitchen to get a glass of waters, and then I started falling in with the spirits even more. I had this military shoulder standing on the end of the bed, and it was literally him with a bone knife under my bed. I was
Really?
crapping myself, and
That's intense, man.
that was quite tense for me, especially at that age. Going further to where I want to go to, it was kind of weird because stuff started happening. I started getting a bit scared. So my nan come down, my actual nan comes down. She comforted me a lot. And at one point, my mum was in hospital, and I was getting really bad nightmares. I started seeing features, started picking up on things. My nan actually sat down on the bed, stroked my head, and I was going through a lot of the time. And at one point, I was really ill, and I broke the door off the hinges. So
Wow.
I used my cupboard.
That's quite intense, Drew. I mean, that's seeing that at that age. That's scary.
Yeah, seriously, I was going through it for a long time. So going for it like a long time. But as I got older, I started getting used to it. Like I said, this is what actually happened. I put the cupboard towards the bed door, and I remember the cupboard started slamming. That's when I started getting stronger with it. I was wondering why. I did get scared. I was calling for my mum, calling for all that. And I remember chucking a walking a crutch, but this was as I got older, just to let you know. Okay, in this house, I've been in there for quite a while. I chucked the crutch at the door. And I remember, literally, it actually got flung back straight at me. When I started looking into it, I started getting a bit into like the gothic stage at a very young age. I started to ask questions. I got told I was crazy at a very young age.
Yeah.
I got put down by people in school. I got put down by people. You know, I was just speaking like a child.
Yeah.
So I went from being there, then at the age of 8, this is where it's going to get a little bit emotional for me. At the age of 8, then I tried to commit suicide.
Right.
At the age of 8. And that was because I was getting bullied. People would call me a liar. I went into the stage then. The spirits were coming very strong with me, and I didn't know what to do, who to seek. As I was growing up into my adult form, my mental health wasn't deteriorating. I was trying to deal with it. When I found out then my actual birth father, I was coming into my 18 years old. I was involved with some stuff, but I wanted more. I wanted more information. I didn't want to tell people I was doing this, I was doing that. I wanted to know more. So I found out I was talking to my father, and my father predicted his own death. When I questioned about it, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
He actually predicted his own death. In 2013, he passed away. How he done that? He was a spiritualist.
Right. But did he actually predict how he died? Did he actually predict? Really?
Yeah. He did.
That's actually. I thought the creature you seen when you were young was scary, but actually predicting your death.
He done it, and I was stunned. I was stunned. I was so. It was when you get your father telling you at the age of 18 years old, telling him you're gonna die, and he told me how.
Yeah.
I didn't believe because the spirits were strong with me, and then
Yeah.
I didn't know how to believe in that area. When he died in 2013, I had a phone call. He literally passed away just after my wedding, just before my wedding, and just after my son was born.
That's
So,
that's I just find that because you were going on about the bullying and stuff. I know what that feels like because I was different and I was bullied at school, and I know what that feels like. And seeing those things, I know what that feels like too. But predicting your father predicting his own death,
yeah,
that must have well disturbed you slightly, and it must have,
they did.
yeah.
You got it up. They did.
Yeah. Well,
So,
thank you for sharing that, ways, because that's everybody in the chat. I don't know MD that listens to this on Amazon or anyone else that listens to the podcast. That's actually profound because we can look back in this maybe in 20, 30, 40 years from now. People will watch this or well listen to this. Hopefully they can watch it too. But that's so intense. It's weird because I had a weird feeling when you were telling me that kind of stuff.
it was a really hard time that day. Really hard time. And if it weren't for meeting my wife, I burst down in tears when she said, "You can't believe again." But I was seeing them still. It was actually thanks to Taylor. I propped open and we met this woman. She got very sexist. She said, "Blokes can't be spiritualists." Well, I proved that one wrong, didn't I? I started reading people, started coming out with loved ones, started working with people.
Yes. That's what I was going to actually ask you about because I've been watching some of your lives that you do. I notice you do like readings now and again, and I must say you're bloody good at it. Because I've been sitting watching. There was I can't remember when it was. I think it was about maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago. I was actually in the chat. I just said hey, but I'm always watching. I was watching TV, and you were reading this woman, and you got everything, and I mean everything correct about her. And I was like, that's just insane. I mean, I've met mediums before, but you are very gifted, Drew. You're one of the most gifted mediums or clairvoyants or whatever you want to call yourself I've ever met.
Thank you very much. That means a lot.
No, yeah. Dakota, would you like to ask a question? Maybe for Mama D?
Well, yes. Same question to Mama D. Is your poor girl sitting there all by her lonesome, just sitting there looking pretty? Now you know how. I get it. I'm like that with him, but I get that way with him all the time. Hardly get a word in sometimes. But what is it?
Nothing is elaborate as that. Mine was just really finding out when I was still in my mum's stomach that before I was even born. This one. My mum actually thought she was going to be losing me because she started bleeding quite heavily. So she got placed into a mother and baby unit because she was only 18 herself at the time. And the unit was run by nuns. And my mum woke up in the middle of the night and there was a nun sat at the end of her bed smiling at her as if to say, everything's going to be all right, don't worry. The following morning, she went and spoke to the staff there and they said, who was in my room last night? And they said, what do you mean? She's like, well, one of you came and sat on the end of my bed and smiled at me. And they said, we're not allowed in the rooms at night.
Oh, dear.
So from that story and other bits and pieces, like when my mum said that a group of friends did the Ouija board and there was no windows open, no doors open, but this great big gust of wind just came through the whole building. So it just got me intrigued more than anything to try and find the evidence.
I find that fascinating about the hospital with the nun because I've heard so many stories. I've heard stories that people have been dying in hospice, and I've heard stories people have woke up and there's been like a nurse or a nun that's been at the bottom of the bed.
But this wasn't even in a hospital. It was a secure house type thing.
Really? That is absolutely fascinating. So what other things do you you experience them now? Do you see spirits? How do you see them? You don't?
I don't see. I just go along on investigations, and I tend to sense more than anything.
Yeah.
I can walk into a room and I can think somebody, even if a person was stood next to me, I could say there's just something about them I don't like or I'm not sure about. And generally, when I get that feeling, it's right, as Drew has found out a couple of times.
So it must be different for you, Drew. How do you see the spirits, Drew? How do you see them? Do you picture them in your head, or do you see them as like not humans, obviously, that have passed, like just walking about?
Same like you.
Right.
I
Because I know
same
some,
like you.
yeah, because I know some mediums don't really see them with their own eyes. They can visualize them inside their heads.
I seem like you. Or they'll do something which they use images. If their energy ain't too strong, they like to use images. Or they'll make you do something. But when I'm reading someone, you'll see me. I don't know if you see me turn my head to the side and tilting my head just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
That's when they talk to me. It's because that's giving the doorway open to them. I don't want to be that. I don't want to read you. I don't want to look at your personality. I want to look away. I'm going to listen to the spirit. I'm not looking at you. And they come out as an image, as like what you are today, like all of us. They still got to keep the image. Sometimes they want to be back the way they want to be, a child or the teenager, the adulthood, memories. It's important.
Yeah, I've always found that fascinating about how some spirits will die. Maybe they'll die in their 90s, but they'll come back when they were like maybe 7, when they were most happiest. So for me, it'll be when I had a full head of hair, But it's I had to add that there as a wee bit. But it's like I find it very unusual. So can I ask you something? What's the best piece of evidence both of you's ever caught? What's the best piece of evidence?
You first, Mama D.
The only one that I've got is I went to Waverley Abbey, which is quite local to me. And I just remember taking this picture thinking, it's totally dark, I'm not going to see anything. But then as the shutter went, I saw an image on the screen, and I was like, oh, that probably wasn't caught. But it was. And it sounds silly, but I call it a pumpkin face. Because it literally looks like a pumpkin face that's appeared on the wall.
Oh, right. And Drew, what did you sense at the time when this happened?
All I'm going to say is I don't have to answer much because it usually just comes. It just usually comes, and I've caught quite a bit of evidence for other teams. So in my eyes, my evidence is the pictures and EVPs.
Yeah.
Got caught on evidence, and that's it.
And there was one other one that I just remembered. We went to Woodchester Mansion.
Right.
And a rock came down from the ceiling, and you actually saw it coming down. It's actually been on Noak's Top 5 as well.
Oh, I'll need to see that.
Clip of it.
Nice.
I'll need to see that. I'm going to look for
and
that tonight.
I managed to make it onto the clip, even though it wasn't a clip that we'd taken. It was another group that were there as well with us. But I'm just standing there looking completely gormless.
That is fascinating.
But yeah.
Yeah.
That was the only other one that sticks in my mind with those two.
So I've got to ask you this question. It's probably Dakota's. I'm going to hand it over to Dakota after this. But what's your thoughts on extraterrestrials and the beyond? That's for both of you, by the way.
I love the laugh.
I'm not going to disprove it or disbelieve it because my stepdad actually felt like he was abducted once.
Right.
So I
just
can't.
once, the lucky bastard.
That's what he's told me about. Put it that way. That's the only one. I think he must have thought I was mad. That I thought he was mad or something. And I was like, no, not at all.
Look at us two. That's why we're called Bald and Bonkers.
Nothing wrong with being bonkers.
So, Drew, what about you? Have you ever felt anything, seen anything? What's your
I've
opinion?
seen stuff. Yes, I
Yeah.
have. I have actually. I do believe in aliens, and I do believe in aliens to everyone. I do believe
Right.
in that type of bigger field. I do believe it goes further beyond, just that I know.
Yeah.
It's kind of good questions because I don't study much with it, but I know some good stuff. And the reason why is we used to live in Wales called Neyland, and we saw this big flying H in the sky. We tried to catch on the camera couldn't focus. We had a new Samsung camera. I can't remember what one it is, but it was one of the new ones.
Yeah.
And we could
Expensive
not
one.
catch it. We could not catch it. We got it from Bright House, the best place.
Oh, yeah.
Credit. So you know where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
So we couldn't catch it on camera. We really couldn't. It kept going in and out. It was zoomed in and still had problems. And we have seen things, but on that line, I do believe it is further beyond, and they are in planet with us.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
fine.
Yes. I would just like to take this moment, then I'll hand over to Dakota. Guys in the chat, could you please go and visit DNTV on YouTube and give them a big subscribe? Also, could you go to Facebook and give them a big subscribe? All the links are in the chat, but also all the links are below the live. And if you're listening in the podcast
Are below,
world,
upward, it depending on whatever platform you're
roundabout.
listening to this, it's impossible to keep track.
If you're on the podcast side of this, and maybe this is 100 years from now, I will say hello. And would you please visit their site? Yes, we're probably all dead, but it would still be nice to give them an extra subscriber.
Maybe all of you,
You
I
never
still
know.
have better
Somebody will
chances.
carry it on.
These younger generations, terrible, you know. I'm going to get frozen when I get to 99, you know, thawed out again. So Dakota,
God.
I'll hand you over, you know.
So obviously, when it comes to this field, you're going to run into your fair share of skeptics. Sometimes they're a little bit more fair in that they're wanting you to try to actually explain what's happening instead of just going on blind faith. But other times you get those ones who are just, well, let's just say it, downright assholes. How would you guys handle those types of cases? And this goes to anybody who's willing to answer.
For me, when I deal the ones with the assholes, it makes my job fun because it makes me dick. I've dealt with them assholes, and I tend to skeptic into believing. I've done it to quite a few skeptics. So you could tell them like what everyone tells them, or you tell it how it really is, and you tell them how it really works. And you don't want to really play psychological. You want to keep it real as you can. And we can pinpoint everything around the house it does, or we can get to the realistic and try and make it move something and try and pinpoint that area. And I really like to play with skeptics. They're my toys. I'm sorry, they're my toys. I'm not their toys. I call them my toys. Because if you can show them and you can predict something, then it gives them the full hardcore set, full information. I like to be friendly with them, but then I like to make it out their mind too. So they make us work, and I make them work. Simple as. But you do as a friendly, but it is a bit of a laugh. But you work together, so then you can agree on stuff, and then you can disagree. You don't have to be a full asshole, completely full asshole straight out. You can be straight up, respectfully, and personally, if you can sit down and disagree, and you come to a sort of term in the end, then that's where the line begins. You know, we show them photos. We make sure they follow around. We can check everything out. We got engineers on the team, qualified technicians, electricians, a mold expert. We've got someone who's actually a builder. You know, all these people who's got
That's good.
qualifications and things. It's an ideal to have on the team to show people it's not this, it might be this. It's not that, it could be this. But to prove it's really working, that's what we got. And the ones who are really awesome, I'm not going to lie, they are pretty cool. I have dealt with awesome skeptics. And I'll give them a big vouch because I've actually come to some quite close one. And one of them was actually Dorothy's team, her boss. He was a hell of a skeptic until I got involved.
Yep. It was a case of my friend had come over and Drew was having a chat with him, and Drew started reading him, and he was sitting there thinking, he's not going to be able to do this. He's not going to be able to do this. And then he said about somebody having words tattooed on their hands, which was my friend. He has them on his hands.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said something about somebody else in his family. And that's when my friend Dave realised, actually, nobody else knew that. Not even I knew that one. So it was like, okay, so Drew can do what he says he can do then. Because even I was sat here thinking, no, not a clue. And then there was another time when we had the really bad storms a little while back.
Yeah.
And a few days before the storms came, Drew said to me, tell Dave, be careful when he goes to the shop. So I'm like, what? Thought nothing of it. Anyway, Dave popped over and he said he was going home, but he was heading to the shop. So I said, oh, be careful on your way to the shop. And he's like, why? I said, Drew's just asked me to tell you to be careful when you go to the shop. And he was like, okay, I'll bear that in mind. And he starts walking to the shop, and as he would normally cross the road, the opposite side of the road where he would have just stepped, the street light fell down and would have landed straight on top of his head.
Wow.
Luckily, he was going to the shop instead of going straight home.
So you saved his life? You saved his life there?
Pretty
That's
much.
amazing. That is phenomenal. That is phenomenal. I like the idea of he's having builders and contractors going investigations, because a lot of people be like, oh, I've got a demon in the attic and it's making all this noise. But in actual fact, it's just like a
FBI
creepy...
have just said true. He has commented saying it's true.
It's we got some great people on the team, and it's a nice idea for the skeptics. And that fall line, if you can be helping that skeptic, you can actually support that skeptic to believe in some sort of bit. Only a tiny bit. Doesn't have to be much. Only a tiny bit, and that will help them a little bit. And the more they learn about it, the more they get further.
All you need to really do is plant that wee amount in that person's brain, and they'll go home and they'll think about that, and then they'll start watching all these programs and watch Use Ghost Hunt, and they'll watch, and then they'll slowly wake up. It's the same as that in the kind of UFO field. Oh, I don't believe in UFOs. I don't believe in UFOs. You plant something in their head, give them a couple of months, and then they come back to you and they're like, oh yeah, I believe in aliens. I believe in stuff.
I saw this or I saw that.
Yeah. So a question for you, Drew. Where is the future of DNTV going?
Okay, so I may as well crack some stuff up here. We are literally adding up, but we're not adding up alone. We're adding up as a parafam. We're adding up further. We want everyone to join in. We want everyone literally to go in and support everyone. It's not one person we're supporting billions of people. That's why we're going for DNTV. And the good thing is, DNTV's aiming to have his own little television company, which then that money goes into the company side, and then it goes into a charity system as well. So then it helps charity and also helps the TV studio.
That's what I was going to actually ask you about, because I've noticed, I've watched a lot of your lives that you do, and I've noticed a lot of them, you do focus on charity things. Can you tell us some of the charities that you actually support?
Okay, one of them, I will say this because I'm allowed to say it. One of them I support is the Knight Templar charity.
Right.
And that money goes to the people who need a new house, food, keep warm. I do support the Red Cross as well, and I do support a lot of people who need help or feeding or keep warm. Now, me and Dorothy have got a plan. We are aiming to raise money to build up a building or a location or buy a location and to give to the homeless to go to somewhere nice and warm because the government is taking a bit of a piss.
Oh, yeah.
And if I can help from America to United Kingdom, ex-veterans to people who's been dealing problems with life problems, social media, whatever, if we can get them all into that location and give them somewhere to keep warm and feed, and that means my job has been done. That's what I wanted to do. I'm not there just to only do entertainment. I'm there to provide for the people. And that's what I want to do in that charity. I even basically looked at giving charity to the South African people as well who need water or put a house in. And I ain't got a lot of money. I'm not rich. I'm not famous on that line. But at least I can try and help. And DNTV, that's what we are about as well.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of ghost people don't do much for the homeless and other charities, and that's what I like about you, because I've come on to some of your shows sometimes and just sat and listened to you talking about homeless and how you've helped them, and I find that extremely good what you guys are doing. I mean, Dakota, what's your thoughts on that, Dakota?
Honestly, this is something that should be done a lot more with several groups because, let's face it, you don't necessarily get into the paranormal with the being mentally sane. You know, chances are you've been through some shit that has made you more susceptible to this type of thing. And it's always been my belief the reason why we're surviving, why we're still here, is so that we can try to help others who may not have reached that point yet.
I agree. And do you know the good thing is, I totally agree with everyone in the paranormal field, and I'm going to state this out there on your live today. Everyone in the paranormal field suffer with depression, low moodiness, or suffering to save the house. I got a team member who needs a house soon. He's only got so many months left. So I come up with an idea and trying to raise money to get him a new place. I don't care what I go in my bank. I want to help him as much as I can. And I'm going to make damn sure I'm going to help him because he's got a family just like me, just like you guys. And the most important thing is, if the DNTV can be there for someone, no matter what, then that's what's going to happen. We do paranormal. In the paranormal field, and we already shown like mentalness because we're looking for ghosts or psychology.
Yeah.
No. We're part of that field. We've got to connect in that field. No one's right, no one's wrong. It's learning together. That's it. And that's why I love about the we build in strong together, including with Bald and Bonkers. So straight out to you guys, you're wicked.
Oh, thank you very much. Actually, as I say, I've watched your stuff, and I think you guys are wicked for what you guys have been doing before I even met you. And I can see your company, Drew. I can see it exploding. I can see it getting out there, and we will try our best to share you out in the global community, and it's good helping homeless people because it's like a lot. You got to remember too that a lot of these big channels, that's money, and it's only this house has got demons in it, but in actual fact, it's not really got demons. It's just money. And you guys are actually doing something to help the community around about, where others basically just want money all the time.
We don't want money all the time. We don't want money. We don't want anything. All we want is to help people and make it happen. I got an idea for a movie. I got an idea for a movie, and that's actually coming. And it's called The Crazy Auntie, and it's absolutely happening.
That's that sounds very interesting. That sounds you'll maybe need to talk to you about that because that's because we're working on Dakota's working on the documentary We Are Light, do with the UFO field. Dakota, would you like to tell him? You're better at explaining it because you're the head one of it.
Essentially, when you go into ufology, there's not a lot of material out there that goes into the contactee side. Basically, a majority of it is, oh, look at that weird thing in the sky. And that's it. Maybe talk about government conspiracies and all that. Of course, we got a little bit more of that, but there's an underlying message here. And there, I can go into my own personal experiences, but that's a novel in itself. To where we may be seeing one of the greatest movements, greatest changes unfold in mankind. Maybe that's the source of why everything's been so chaotic lately. You never know.
Yeah.
But it's something to deeper explore that and to show that, you know, maybe even if you think the UFO subject aliens coming down is complete BS, the concepts of coming together, working together, maybe we need to be practicing that a little bit more.
Yes.
I can totally agree with that one. Totally agree. If you look at the if you look at it back in the past, Egypt was apparently built by aliens, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
you think about this now, okay? You think about this. I'll think about it with you too, because I love thinking. But aliens are repeating the stories what we've already been through. World War. I think they're the ones who were coming down. Every centuries is always a war. Always. And I believe they were there. Something random new comes in, new technology comes in. Think about it now. And logically, lights started coming in, guns started coming in. Where did the guns start existing? I didn't believe mankind made it. I believe in that line. It was an alien.
Yeah. I see where you're coming from because mankind, we had World War One, right, and then we started going back out. We started building society again and making money, and then World War Two came along, destroyed society, killed millions and millions of people, and then the America and a lot of places had it was like years of like great fortune. Everybody rich, everybody had money. But now things are happening all over the world. I can see war coming again. I can see it coming again. And I pray and I pray to the Lord that, and I pray to God that they don't use nuclear weapons.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. It's coming.
Yeah. It's what's going on now in Ukraine's terrible. And what's happening around the world's terrible.
It is. It's a very negative of evil.
It's actually it's quite weird you should say about negative and evil. It's actually I don't know if Dr. Cook can back me up here. There's something to do with the land that's in Europe, with all the blood that's been soaked in it for over the hundreds of years, and it carries this negativity. And the war is about to break out again, only so many miles from where it broke out the last time. And it's terrifying. It's terrifying. It really is. It's strange things, you know. And it's quite interesting you brought up the pyramids because the pyramids are a lot older than people could possibly realize.
Pyramids, I do believe some pyramids to do with, and this is how I looked at it. The pyramids are like, I really do believe these spaceships are key.
They were used for something like that, yeah. Yeah. Dakota, do you want to break in this one?
Oh God. Yeah, of course. Obviously, this is a topic of high speculation, and I don't want to just come on and say that we know for absolutely sure. Yes, there's a lot of evidence that may implicate that there was an extraterrestrial assist, but also in the same mindset, what bothers me about this kind of approach that Chris has taken is that it really defiles human potential when we just say, oh, nobody could think like that. Well, look at guys like Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Look at the stuff he's pulling off.
I think, and this is my pure opinion, this is only my opinion, right? To do with the pyramids, I think, yes, aliens helped, but I do think humans built them. Humans were used to build them, but I do think aliens helped. They did help. I mean, so people say it was slaves. It would need to be, it would need to be, you think of the capstone of the Great Pyramid and how much that weighs. It's old. The pyramids are older than people could possibly imagine. There's more to this story that's been covered up through time. And I think one day it will come out, but I don't think it'll be for a very long time. You know? So, Mama, what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on the pyramids and such?
I haven't really thought that much about them, but I would like to come visit them one day.
Well, so would I, yeah. I don't think I could take the heat.
That's definitely on my bucket list.
Yeah.
Along with quite a few other places.
Yeah. So, Dakota, do we have any more questions, or does the MD in the chat would like to ask Drew or Mama Dia a question, guys?
Actually, I do have one little remark that I was going to segue off of your spiraling into BS as usual.
That made Drew look up.
No. I was just doing it now.
Bonkers, but bonkers.
I just had a message saying there's a troll on my page. So
Was it on our page?
Yeah, there was somebody trying to get friend requests saying they want private readings.
I
Just
did
saying, ooh, it's a spammer. We're making it big. Anyway.
If they've got to come and use us to get their business, hey.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
They're just sucking their dummies. That's all they do. Yeah. I won't say it because.
Well, there's been a couple of times where people say, "Oh, they hate us. We're fake." Yet they use our material to promote their stuff. So,
yeah.
Anyway, as I was saying, like Chris was saying, areas where there is a lot of travesty, a lot of bloodshed, it does seem to attract a lot of energies. ET, spiritual, seems like a good mix of it. And just as an example, I was wondering, you guys probably noticed it yourselves. Right about when the pandemic started, there's a lot more reports of more negative spirits that were coming my way, at least. I was wondering if you guys have noticed something similar and what your thoughts are on that.
I would say it has. Yeah, I was just sitting there watching you nodding. Yeah, I totally agree that there's been a lot more coming to light about what's out there. Obviously, people were blaming the pandemic for one thing, but there's other things that have been coming on the bandwagon with it along the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's my feeling.
For the last past few months, I had a lot of cases coming in about tax. So
that's interesting.
Literally, a lot of cases ourselves and other teams I work with. I know I can't speak much about it, but I know it is. They like to keep it private, but it is a lot coming in recently, and I mean like it's filling up in days.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard there's been a lot of
oh yeah,
more darkness than usual, and it's maybe fueling though. It's maybe because of the war in Ukraine. It's maybe fuel.
I do believe it is a fuel, but I also believe it was the gateway. I do believe it was a gateway. It's not far from the main area. I do believe the fact of someone actually caught the spirit walking from the plane into fire.
That's really interesting.
Now think about this logically. Why would someone walk from there to the fire after a crash? I do believe the gate is now being open, and that's why the walls have risen into the battle. But I totally agree with multiple things that's going on. It's to do with the wall, but also to do with other things.
It's actually very interesting you say that about the war, because was it you, Dakota, was telling me about the black magic that was meant to be? It was speculated.
Yeah, Russia was throwing out claims that their militaries have found evidence of black magic being used in Ukraine in spots they managed to invade. Whether or not that's true, that's up for speculation. I don't think anybody wants to be right on the front lines to find out for themselves right now.
No. I hope I'm never on the front lines of a war zone. I don't think it'll last very long. You know.
I know
There's-
I wouldn't.
But not last long at all. So, is there any questions in the chat there, Dakota? What's that? Is that, do you think the moon is hollow? Who's that? Bung Leeds or something? Do you
Bungle
think the moon
Zip
is hollow?
2?
Yeah, that's him. Do you think the moon is hollow? There's a question for you there. That's for everybody.
Do you mean yellow or hollow? Like
Hollow, like
hollow,
Hollow Earth
like-
theory type thing.
Yeah.
I do believe it's a solid piece of rock. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't believe anything else about the moon. I do believe it's supposed to give energy and light and power to people.
Yeah.
I do believe in that kind of sort of thing. So
Mama D?
this is good. This is good thing. It's not a spaceship.
I wished it was a spaceship because I would get
And
inside
there
it
was
and
me all
fly
these
away.
years thinking it was cheese.
Why would we want it to be a spaceship? It looks an awful lot like the Death Star. It's gone eroded,
does.
but
It
I was
does.
just thinking
true.
about that.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about
Maybe
that.
it
get me
is.
out of here if you're gonna fire.
Take me now.
Leave him.
Beat
And
me
what do you mean, take him? Take me and leave him. You know, I wished it
There's
was
one with hybrid kids up there.
No,
I better
you never
shot.
know.
So-
You just think of all that back money you have to pay.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's been a really good night tonight, guys.
It is.
Yeah, and I would like to thank you for coming on the show, and thank you for joining the network. You know, just coming on, and once this gets uploaded, we will send you the links, and you can share them out everywhere. Oh, Dakota,
What?
what are you
We thought
looking
you
at?
were looking at something.
It's like
then.
there's no. I'm trying to simulate looking at him because we get broadcasts out to like 60+ locations, and he's wanting me to dig through every single fucking link. There's a
No.
reason why there's a Google spreadsheet.
No. What we'll do is we'll send you out some for Amazon Prime and stuff like that. And if you click on our website, you'll find everything there. You know.
I just gotta
do,
say,
Dakota.
Coda, I just gotta say something to your machine back there. Now, I'm just gonna say this very carefully. So then, I've been looking behind you constantly and at that machine. But my attention is the old lady. And I mean old lady, mid 60 years old.
No.
She's giving me attention, pointing like she wants to clip across the ear. But she was the lady who would chew like, not tobacco, but it's just like that sweet stuff. And she is literally coming out very strong. And if we can ask her to touch the box, if we just ask her to touch the box, that would be nice, I think. But she doesn't want it. It's down to her. I don't know the spirits. I asked them to go there if they could. So, but the old lady is literally, she's there. And
Yeah.
all I'm saying is the word, well done.
I've picked up in it before. I've always picked up in something standing behind them, and a lot of people do pick up on something.
I'm just going to be honest, truth. She said, well done.
He's now sitting there thinking, what?
Dakota.
Because if it is who I think it is, she was not a very good person in life.
But
That goes
everything
into some of
changes.
my demons.
But everything changes when you die. You have to do the life review and stuff like that. And
You don't want me to go into those stories, Christopher.
All
I'm
I'm
not
saying
being
is-
joking here.
All I'm saying is, straight up, bro. That's why I'm saying it. Maybe you need to think on certain points and watch what's around you. It might not make sense, but it'll make sense soon. Just trust me. Okay? Do
that's
you trust
very
me?
interesting.
Don't know you well enough, so I'll keep you in mind. How about that?
Like what everyone says, I'll keep you in mind. Once you keep it in mind, I'm okay.
I find it interesting because you do see it now and again behind him. There's like something moves about, and I've always wondered what it was.
The main point that's got me behind him is like it's something. I got my attention on the box, but my head keeps going back to the wall by you. And that wall is where he does a lot of actions with his system. But I think also he doesn't try to stay in that room a lot. He actually tries to go to the different room more often. But sometimes he doesn't mind it because it takes him away from the outer world. And he likes to prefer sometimes that, but the other room behind you is the best place for you, like a comfort room. So I reckon the other room would be the comfort room.
Saying the next room over that is the bathroom. I'd say it'd be a little too comfortable.
No, not like that, but comfort room is a comfort room. It doesn't matter where it's placed. Comfort room, yeah, the bathroom is quite nice to sit in sometimes for a bath or a shower, no matter what. But I'm not reading you. I'm just telling you how it seems to be. That next room, doesn't matter what's behind that wall, you actually have got a certain comfort spot in your mind. All I'm stating is that old lady is following you, and the rooms, one of the rooms is a comfort room.
It's very interesting. That. What's your thoughts, Dakota?
I think you're going to be constantly pestering me trying to get answers that aren't not to be mentioned on this podcast.
Yeah.
I'm saying that to Chris directly.
Yeah, I know, ladies and gentlemen. I'll get to it after. I'm only joking, but it's quite fascinating how you pick that up, Drew. It's quite fascinating. You don't pick anything up with me, do you?
Bullshit.
Should I say?
Oh, that turn. When did we enter
He's wearing the
Pokemon?
hat room with it. Where's my tinfoil hat? And he put it on just so you can't read my brainwaves.
Do you know what it means when I turn his hat?
What's that?
It puts me in the mind to set in a comfort stage. I'm ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a turn off.
Right. It's very interesting how it works with you, Drew. I find that fascinating. I really do. So everybody in the chat, there's Phoenix. Yeah, it keeps walking behind him. Phoenix is I think she's seen that a few times. I've seen it a few times. I mean, I see it all the time. You see it pacing up and down. But I think
I love how the reaction is everybody keeps expecting me to be shocked. I was like, I've ended up 30 miles away from the. There's been a situation where I've ended up 30 miles away from where I went to bed one night at 5 years old.
Yeah.
Nothing surprises me anymore.
He's
now the ones that physically come through the wall, that's the ones that get a little concerning, especially when I'm in the birthday suit. But hey,
But Chris,
It's hot.
go back
Yes.
in your area. To go back in your area, I'm not gonna lie. You got everything balanced, but not a lot of stuff is actually balanced at home.
Right.
You're off balance a little bit.
Mhm.
Open your front door in the next 3 days, and you'll get good news. Just trust. That's all you gotta do.
Open my front door. What do you mean? Just open it and then close it again?
Mhm.
Right. I'll do that. I'll do it tomorrow.
If he gets kidnapped, it's not my fault. So just.
Yeah, but that might be good news for him. You never know.
I'll give the kidnappers Dakota's phone number,
Nah.
and they'll phone them
I'm gonna
and
be
they'll be
honest,
they'll be there.
Yeah, we already
need-
know who's going to
you
be
need
coming
to
for
know
you,
that-
Chris.
Chris, you needed a good news.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
1 minute.
That's
Sorry,
yeah.
guys.
I would like to thank you for coming on, Mummy D, Drew. Honestly, this has been a really good night, and we'll need to get you back sometime again. And
Thank you for having us.
yes, and I would like to thank everybody in the chat and everybody on Facebook for watching us, following us, and clicking that like button, because it helps everything out. But please, guys, check out DNTV. Give them a subscribe. Go to Facebook, subscribe if you're in the podcast world. Just please check them out. So, Drew, would you like to plug everything?
Like what you mean?
Hey, plug.
Yeah, promote your shit, man. Yo, pimp yourself out. You have a full opportunity here to pimp yourself out, man.
Hundreds of thousands of people
Okay.
will listen to this.
Can I just say something first? Go and check out the USA DNTV Entertainment Parafam. Go and check their page out. Right now, he's on here with me right now, Mr. Rob. He's waiting for the excitement stuff. But go and check out DNTV, the FBI Paranormal page, and Los Hills is come in. Make sure you check out all these lovely guys, because these guys are pretty cool. The Bald and Bonkers. Make sure you follow, support them, and subscribe to them. And I got so many people to shout out, but
Don't forget PD Region
We've got
Paranormal.
all night.
yeah.
One
But
you have trouble with.
You know, I was about to say, will you actually be able to say it?
That's why if I say it, we know it's there.
do you want me to do the thing then for you guys to shut your page down then to say we can say goodbye, and then they can just find us everywhere. They really can.
When you go, it's
Go
up to
ahead.
you. You can do what you want.
It's your
All right,
guys' show.
guys, I'm done. I'm out of here. Thank you for having me, Chris, and also Cody. Whoever you guys are now, I'm joking. Bald and Bonkers, Mama D, thank you for coming on. Well, I was going to say DNTV, but it's not. It's Bald and Bonkers. You know, they're a bunch of crazy guys that didn't know what the heck I was
We've
doing
moved
here,
out
but
for the
actually,
day.
they're pretty cool. So they're not crazy. But anyway, this is the end of the show. Now, guys, don't be scared of the aliens and don't be scared of paranormal. It's a waste of time. See you later. Bye.
I'm apparently married to
you
one,
later.
so
Bye,
obviously, you know,
everybody.
I'm not scared, but
Be
Bye.
fine. Be fine.
Bye.
Peace out.
All right.